All right, guys, we're starting the year off big. 1,200 horsepower. Every 1,200 horsepower turbo Trans Am, 91 millimeter turbo, 388 cubic inch LS on HOLLEY EFI, built 400, built rear end, Viking suspension. This thing is a true muffin cap peeler. All right, y'all, we got a very interesting video for you guys today. No, it is not clickbait. Yes, I did actually blow up the Black Sheep. It was not intentional. It was an unfortunate event, but it happened, and we're going to talk about why it happened, and we're going to talk about where we're going moving forward. But before we go any further, we're going to do a little triple entry day on this guy right here, but we got some goodies for you. I got 2 brand new shirts available up on the website. I haven't talked about it any. Kind of did like a soft launch, but now this is our official launch of the Nasty Co brand. So the Nasty Co brand is something that I wanted to do because I love wearing my racing inspired shirts, but I also want to branch out and have some shirts that are not 100% specific to motorsports. Some lifestyle stuff, some motivational stuff, and just something that's got cool designs that myself and my friends would like to wear. So we have 3 shirts up on the Nasty Co tab on the LS Nasty website, and 2 of them are going to be some fresh, hot releases out today that you guys can get. We had the Just Send It one, which will show up here on the website. That's been out for a while, and you guys have been buying that up left and right, so I'm glad you guys enjoyed it. But we got 2 new badass ones. We got the camo Nasty Co shirt, which you guys see right here, and then we got the brand new one that is, you get what you work for, not what you wish for. So you guys got to work for it, and you can get it. Those shirts right now are available on the website. Everything is triple entry. So you guys need to go over there and get entered to win this thing right here. 1,200 horsepower, turbo Trans Am, HOLLEY EFI, roll cage, parachute, 7-inch dash, built 400, S60 rear end, CO2 boost control. This thing right here is bad to the bone. I've been so busy, I ain't been able to go out. I haven't even been able to wash it after we went to the track. We ain't cleaned it up. We took it to the track. We went like 570 on moderate boost. And dude, for a street car you could drive around, we're giving away a 5-second car. Like, someone is going to be able to hop in this, drive it around, drive it to the racetrack, and go 5s all day long. I think that is absolutely awesome. So lsnasty.com is the first link in the description below. We also got some new key tags up there, and then like I said, we got the Nasty Co brand on the site, which is absolutely awesome. I'll be completely transparent with you guys. The camo Nasty Co shirt is my #1 favorite, and then the you get what you work for shirt is like my 2nd favorite. I haven't even got them yet. They're so fresh, hot off the press. Today they got printed, like this morning. It is Friday, March 31st, and they got done this morning. So I said I blew up the Black Sheep, and I did, like 100%. No, in all transparency, we blew up the Black Sheep, and it was very odd how we found this out. Let me grab some stuff off the shelf here. We're going to talk about this. Is like my go-to part shelf. I got some spare stuff here. I got some spare billet atomizers there, spare scavenge pump. I got some stators down here out of a couple different transmissions. You guys have heard me talking about stators and all the different stuff with transmissions here lately, because we've been doing some stator changes and a lot of billet bolt together stuff, and yeah. So let's go back to Georgia. Everyone knows what happened at Georgia. We went out there first time on that 295 tire, 30 inches tall, and the converter just wouldn't run good up top. I put the motor together in the Black Sheep, which is terrifying to a lot of people, but has good oil pressure. Obviously, it runs good. We went some pretty fast times with it, but we were handicapped by the converter slip up top. And we knew that was our issue. We knew we weren't going to be super competitive, so we tried to leave really hard on it, and I think we hurt the converter there. So when I say we blew up the Black Sheep, yes, we blew up the Black Sheep. Did the motor blow up? No, the motor is fine. Everything is fine. But it's a crazy series of events that leads to where we are today. So Pete from Circle D hits me up. He's like, hey, man, you need a converter. I'm like, hey, Pete, I need a converter. This one here is not getting it done. 20%, 25% converter slip out the back. It is not having it. He's like, listen, we'll get you right. I think it's like a 264 millimeter Circle D, billet bolt together, headed your way. I'm like, Pete, you're the man. I had a bunch of converters laying around here, so I make a turbo bullet post. I was selling converters. I was selling turbos. I was selling wastegates. I was selling intakes. I had a bunch of shit that I just found laying around, and I needed to get it gone, so I was selling everything. One of the guys bought the converter out of the sheep, and I was like, hey, man, I can't ship it out today because it's still in the car. So I fire up the car. I pull it in the shop. I put it up on the Projects. We drop the transmission out of it. I take the converter out of the transmission. I put it in a box. I put a cap over the end of the converter so it doesn't leak any fluid. I didn't even drain the fluid out of it. And we stick it in the mail and we send it off. He gets it. He messages me yesterday. He's like, hey man, this converter's smoked. And like I sold this converter for $1,200. Billet bolt together converters, you're looking, you know, a Mickey converter is like $4,000. You know, some of the other ones you're looking at like that $3,000-ish range. So I'm selling them cheap, obviously, just because this is what I do. I have stuff, if I could use it and give it to you guys for cheaper so you guys can use it, I do that. Sometimes I don't even get to use it, but I just sell it for cheaper because I understand it's not a brand new part from the manufacturer. I understand that a lot of people don't. I never took this converter apart. I never did. It was, I mean, I drove the car in the shop. I thought everything was fine. So he texts me and says, hey man, this converter's smoked. And I look at my phone and I didn't look at the pictures yet. And I was like, damn, was the converter hurt? And I open up the pictures and holy smokes, that's not good. So I'll put the pictures up on the screen of what he sent me. And yeah, I mean, it was, you could say that's less than ideal. And that is some serious damage. So that's not, the fins are not supposed to be detached. And the turbine is not supposed to be marked up like that. And you can see it looks like there was even a bearing failure as well. I mean, that converter is absolutely smoked. So I just gave him his money back. I'm not one of those guys that's gonna sell something and it's messed up. Be like, no, you bought it used. You knew the chances of it, dude. Hell no. I mean, that's messed up. If the converter's not right, he can't use it. Here's your money back. Send it back to me. It had $0 value. If I knew it was broken, I wouldn't have tried to sell it. I guess it's my fault for not taking it apart. But I got a couple stators here to show you guys what happens. So, like I said before, people make stator changes to loosen, to tighten, to change the flash of the converter, how it works. That's why the billet bolt together converters, look, I got a Circle D one sitting right there. That's a bad son of a gun right there. Look how pretty that is. See how the top, where's my finger? The top unbolts from the bottom. So you could pop all that stuff off and reveal the stator that looks like this. These Johnnies here, depending on the blade number and angle, will dictate a lot on how the converter acts. You need to tighten it up, loosen up, higher stall. You're on no prep and you want to have a super loose converter. This is what you change. As you can see, they're pretty healthy. I mean, these are some serious pieces right here. Nothing's really like small or dinky or anything like that. I mean, this is pretty nice. As you can see, the fins are welded to that outer ring. Never in my life have I seen one come apart like that. Heat and pressure definitely had an effect on that. Here's another one right here. I think this is like a Pro Torque one. This is like a Cameron's one, and this is a Pro Torque. So as you can see, like, the designs are slightly different, but they're all the same. This one here, it looks like this inner piece is one piece, and it's just welded to the outer ring. This one's like a three-piece, where this is completely floating, and they weld it all out. Now, since this happened, Pete from Circle D overnighted me a converter. I put the converter in the car. I take the car to the track. I do a burnout. I go to make a pass, and I knock the crank sensor off of the motor. Something came up and hit the magnetic wheel, and it knocked the crank sensor off. So I went back to the pits, and I don't know if I even put it in the video. I did my burnout, and then the car just shut off and wouldn't crank back. It kept saying sinking. I was like, what the hell's going on? This never happens. I didn't change anything from Georgia. So I get back and find that, and then I fire it up, and then they cancel the class, so I never ended up running the car. There's definitely metal in the transmission. That's not good. That is no bueno. So I'm going to take the converter and transmission down from the car. I'm going to send the converter back to Pete because I'm not like, I mean, I could take it apart and clean it, but I'm just going to let Pete handle all it because it's a brand new converter. I don't even want to mess with it and potentially mess something up. Or my concern is there's metal already in the converter from the previous converter and then I damage it. So Pete's getting the converter back. M&M Transmissions is getting the transmission. And that's it. Less than ideal, but crazy how we found out. Now, I really could have tore that brand new converter up if there is a bunch of metal in there, or I really could have hurt the transmission. Thankfully, I do have a spare 2-speed right here. The difference between this 2-speed and the one that is in the car is the gear ratio on this is a 148 first gear. The gear ratio in the car is a 140 first gear, so slightly different, but close enough. And it's a brand new, good running spare from M&M Transmissions. Yeah, I mean, that right there, like that whole series of event to me is absolutely insane. And I guess it just goes to show you really got to look everything over. Thankfully, Eric, the guy I sold the converter to, the first thing he did was open it up because, like, it would suck if a year down the road he doesn't look at it and goes to put that converter in and it messes up and it sends more metal through his transmission. So, like, I'm good with how everything transpired, but it was just an absolutely crazy series of events that now the black sheep was good. Thankfully, we know what happened, so we're not going to run it. We're going to tear it all apart, put a fresh transmission there, get the converter all freshened up from Pete at Circle D, and be good to go. So, this is racing. People don't understand. You can go out there with a perfectly good car, and something like that happens, and it tears up a bunch of shit. Those transmissions are like $17,000 a rip, and you don't want to be hurting them if you can prevent them from being hurt. So, hopefully, when I send that one back to Mark, he's like, hey, everything's good. We just, you know, put some fresh clutches in there and send it back to you, and no big hard parts failures. But the possibility is definitely there. So, you know, I do the videos and we talk about the racing and do all this stuff to kind of give you guys insight of what it's like racing. I mean, this is real world racing. This is the good, the bad, the ugly. We had a hard parts failure that could potentially damage a really expensive, important piece of the car, and you know, we got to take this stuff out, send it off, and get it fixed, and that's what we're going to do. So, you live and you learn. Yeah, I guess that's where we're at. So, the black sheep is blown up, but not for long. The motor's fine. I did my job. I did my job, but the transmission is potentially wounded. So, big shout out to Pete at Circle D. He's super easy to deal with. I was like, hey, I got to send this back. He's like, hey, send it back. And, yeah, I mean, everything else is good to go. Big shout out to Eric, the guy I sold that converter to not immediately go on Facebook and absolutely bash me before he reached out to me, because I would have been like, wait, I'll just give you your money back, because that's not really fair to sell you something that's tore up. Most people, I feel like, I wouldn't say most, I'd say a lot of people are just in it for the drama. So before they'd even say anything to me, they'd be like going crazy. So big shout out to Eric for just being a normal human being and having a normal reaction to opening up a converter and finding it damaged and messaging me. And yeah, you know, at the end of the day, we have LS Nasty and Nasty Racing and myself. We have a reputation and a brand and an image that we have to uphold. So selling messed up parts to people is not a good look. And, you know, it does happen, unfortunately, as you guys just saw. I had no idea, but we make it right. And I feel like that's fair and I'd say decently respectable, that I'm not just going to stick someone with some broken stuff and say, ah, you keep it, you know. So there we go. That's going to wrap today's video. I'm going to get in the shop and start cleaning. We're going to talk about turbo kit I'm about to build, and we'll see you guys in tomorrow's upload.